overhear family talking. Like I've heard conversations of my family, but they were talking, she's coming out of it. It's like the volume is even more. So I
Right.
heard my mom praying. I heard my husband speaking life. So
Yes.
it was like, I'm going to make my children, mom's coming out of this. Mom, I got you some new stuff. This is what it is. You don't understand. I've been privy to some people where they said their families gave up and they started
Mm.
talking arrangements and started talking these things.
What?
But I'm saying it does happen. So imagine the people who don't have the support of someone coming in and rubbing their shoulders or whatever, they're in pain, or
Mm.
the right medication that they need for that day, or supplies, or they don't have the comfort of someone keeping clean clothes in the house.
Mm.
They're like, no one cares. Think about what the experience is like if we didn't have the support we did, what that would have looked like.
Exactly.
It brings depression.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the anxiety you had to deal with. But
Yes.
if you didn't have anyone to support you in that.
Wow. Just imagine that. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Wow.
You know how we have to reflect on, okay, what I've been through, what I've
Mm-hmm.
God, you allowed me to come through this because, like you said, it's a testimony. So then you can share that with me,
Yes.
that are viewing, but also there are going to be people that come down your path. Be able to empower them, share your story and how they're going to overcome. And they may be in the process of giving up. Leaves us here. So then we can be that testimony. So that
Yes.
we'll continue to fight. Because it's a serious fight.
Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. Now
Um,
imagine I'm saying to myself, one day my mom was on my mind. I just had to call up and thank her because here she lost her oldest daughter to stomach cancer. 2 years later, your baby girl got cancer. You know what I'm saying? And then she was like, I didn't see any worry with her. She was just strong as she's always been. And I just had to think, like, how did you even go through that? How did you remain so strong? She was like, this is what I do.
how did she do it? Did you ask her how she did it?
She was like, this is what I do. There's no room for that. There's no room to lose faith on anything. You know what I mean? There's no room for that.
Ooh, your mom, we need to get our monies together because my mom, she said, not on my watch, you dying. That's when I was like, not on my watch.
Now on my watch. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Right into prayer. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Oh.
So are our testament. They are the pillars in our community.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we have survived and conquered to do the exact same thing for
Same
some.
thing. That's our charge. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Lord is charging us to do.
And I'm excited. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I know you did it too. And each step of the way, thank you, God. You
Thank
brought
you, Father.
when you didn't think it was even possible. Because there was moments I was like,
No, exactly. Same here.
I don't know. And then all of a sudden, here comes some encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
The word
Exactly.
says something, you're like, that's right. You know, and no matter
Girl.
what the doctor said, no matter what, because there was some time that I didn't even want to go in.
What? Really? Mm-mm. Nah, you keep pushing that through.
There were some things that he said to me, and I was like, it literally was like the devil's a liar.
Yes.
Say, I'm not in agreement.
That's right.
Now, your type of cancer that you had was
Mm-hmm.
Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes. There's
Mine,
two types.
yes.
Non-Hodgkin's and then Hodgkin's. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Over a year ago, I read about it when this all happened. Read one of them. They gave either way, it's a testament. It was one of those things that only a certain percentage come out.
I read that too.
I said, God, you are good.
Mm-hmm.
He had, I think, a less than 5% of the people survived that kind.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So imagine if you hadn't done the self-care to say, I'm not working during this, self to everything and everyone, you may not be sitting here today.
Exactly. Exactly. And glad I got to push my husband to say, go get yourself checked out. Go get a physical. Because I'm just going on like nothing.
Because I went to the doctor 4 times, and each time the doctor told me it's arthritis in your chest.
What?
But I didn't.
Arthritis.
I didn't push. I didn't push. I think, I don't know, maybe I didn't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And last year it got so bad where I could barely move. And
oh, wow.
Move it. Thank God I was home. And my husband said, you got to call that doctor because this is ridiculous. Something is not right.
Something's not right.
So thank God.
Now, did you get a second opinion?
I went through 3 different doctors,
mm-hmm.
and each one was a specialist in their field.
Good.
And what they did was, at first I was like, well, I don't know. And they said, well, we're going to do a biopsy so you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. They did the biopsy, and there was no doubt. They did a double. You know how you do a double? They go over the twice.
Right.
But no, that's what it is. There's no.
There's nothing. There's no way around it. That's what it is. Okay.
They said it was so much they couldn't understand because mine was big as a grapefruit. But then I had others over my body.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing you got to talk about the grapefruit. Now you're going to tell me it's all.
It's like, exactly.
And I also had sarcoidosis at the same time. So the sarcoidosis can look like cancer. Because it illuminates when you have your PET scan.
Okay. Okay.
You have to get the actual biopsy. And they said that what happened was the parts that was around my body were the ones that were sarcoidosis.
Wow.
I was like, thank you, Jesus. Look, okay. Yeah, and the way they know is because it doesn't grow. You know, like it would grow at, like the other one and grow. So I was like, thank God. Now the sarcoidosis, it has been shrinking, meaning it's going away, it's fading.
Mm-hmm.
Is working. And they say that person that has the sarcoidosis usually going to have it forever, but I'm a person of faith. No, I'm going to get healed totally of that too.
That's right. Oh, yes, indeed.
Every time I go back to the doctor, he says there has been an improvement. So I'm like, thank you, God. And I have to go to pulmonary where you went to the cardio specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to the pulmonary because of where mine was located, on both of them. And so, yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm thankful because the chemo causes different things in everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, so your doctor they got to customize that, like they say, that cocktail specifically for the person. Everyone thinks it's not the same cocktail. The chemo,
no, it's not.
It's based on your history, your medical history, all these different things that you could be subject to because, like you said, 2 of your siblings. So they had to create something a little different.
Now I thought of mine affected my spleen. To the point where I thought that bad boy was going to burst on me because it was so enlarged. Backache, back. That when we say our husband's rubbing, Lamont's rubbing. That's the only way it'll feel better. My oncologist was like, oh my God. He was so happy when the chemo was working because that bad boy was shrinking then. You know what I'm saying? It affected my spleen real bad. I had to get a liver biopsy. It wasn't with the liver, but the spleen was the main thing that it affected. I was praying that bad boy didn't burst or anything.
It didn't.
But it shrank. The chemo shrank it, so that was good. It was huge, he said. He showed me my scans, and I could see where all the cancer was. I'm like, oh
my goodness. Oh,
girl, it was like serious. But even so, I want to add that Like I said, my oldest sister passed from her cancer, and she has 4 boys. So while I'm rejoicing in my recovery and that, cancer is not showing up with my scans, I'm having survivor's remorse because I felt bad sharing with them. Oh, Auntie's doing good. Auntie's cancer free. Auntie's her scan was because I'm like, oh my gosh, what could they possibly be thinking? You know what I mean? Like their mom didn't survive, but Auntie's surviving. And they used to bother me. And it bothered me for years, Shirley, for years, where I was like, do I tell them it's okay? Do I tell them it's not okay? Or even after I stopped telling them, that me assuming this is what they're thinking, which wasn't the case. I talked to them about it, and they told me, no, Auntie, we want to know these things. It does not, don't even act that way.
Well,
don't even act that way. We want to hear what's going on with you. But it was like to the point where I was just, didn't feel like they should know because I didn't want them to feel a certain kind of way that their mom didn't survive. And it was bothering me a lot that I survived and she didn't. So here I am questioning God. What's wrong with me? Why am I questioning him? Like, why I'm not taking my blessing? You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to come to terms with he's not done with me yet. Why am I questioning that I'm still here and she's not? I have no right to be questioning God in that way. You know what I mean? So I did have to finally come to terms with that. And that was very recent, probably 2 years ago, where I finally let that go. Where I finally felt good. You know what I mean? That my scans are fine and I'm still here.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But and I have to be transparent. I also went through something like that myself. Because I have several family members that did not win their battle. And what I did at first, I was like you, I'm not telling anyone. Honestly, I'm not telling anyone what happened. But what I did was this, because I'm not going to name them because I don't want them to feel some kind of way, but the family members that had mothers that went through the cancer in their battle, what I did was I told them. I didn't tell anyone else in the family.
Wow.
I needed to tell them. And I let them grieve because it brought back memories about what they went through with their
what they went through. Right.
Them to know, God is sovereign, and in all situations, He's going to have His way of whether my time is up or I'm here, and we're going to leave it up to God. He says that but you still have a birth date and a death date.
Yes.
That's a given. No matter how it's a given. And so I told them I'm not sharing with anyone else, but I felt I needed to tell you. Because I didn't want something bad to happen or to go on with the Lord. And now you have to grieve this again. Because and they appreciated me telling them. And I think that even though they may have had to have some type of resolve, why my mom couldn't have stayed, or you understand. I think that they did work through it, and they were extremely happy for me. They would contact.
Yes.
Okay. You understand? Like, we don't give people credit for, not that the thoughts don't come up in our minds.
Right.
But at the same time, I think sometimes that's the devil. We just push that away.
We just put that right on out.
No, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you're overcoming. And they would even take time to pray with me. I think that's lovely.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember one of my individuals calling me, and I'm not gonna say who it was, and saying, Aunt Shirley, I just want to pray with you. I want you to know you've been on my mind. And I just tell me how you're doing, because I already know going through what you're going through. You don't have to say, but I just want in my prayers. Do you understand? That's character. That's mom put good character, like she built that character up
That's right.
to be able to do that, you know? So I'm thankful for them. I thank God that He has them in my life. Um,
Yes.
so, and I pray that other people will have that experience of others around them, even if they go through a loss, that they will still be happy for someone else in their victory.
Yes.
God is sovereign, and that we must allow God's plan to play out.
Oh yeah. Oh, so important to keep that in mind. I like how you put that. Got allowed to play out. For
Oh,
sure.
oh my goodness. Now, I only have one more thing to ask you. Your
Okay.
eating habits now versus going through. What did you do different? Are you doing anything different?
Well, I'm bad, pretty bad with my eating habits. During, I was when I got that Nutra Bullet thing where I was having my shakes and everything. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Our shakes.
girl, that fell off. I'm not keeping up with nothing like that, and I should because I'm not happy with my weight now. It probably affects why I got the flu or I got the cold right afterwards. The month later, my immune system. My eating habits are terrible, and I should be ashamed of myself because I am not following through with what is more healthier in my life, and I'm not.
Well, give yourself a break. You know,
I'm not. It's like, yo, you're supposed to eat this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the Bible says all fall short.
but you would think for what I went through, I would eat more healthier.
We don't stay there. We get up when we recognize and say, you know what? I don't have to be perfect in my eating. I just have to make better choices. That's it. You know,
Better
I
choices. I get this.
only had a green shake or I can only, no, what can you do better? It doesn't mean you have to do 100%, but at least some things better.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say already, I'm taking vitamins all the time. You probably weren't doing that.
Mm-hmm. I was not. Mm-mm.
So you haven't, you see, you have improved. And I wouldn't put so much emphasis on weight because I'm gonna be honest with you, after this, I gained weight. It's just what it is because my
Mm-hmm.
metabolism, I think, was affected. Like everybody's affected differently.
Right.
Had to do cardio before the chemo. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I had the neuropathy in my legs, I couldn't do any, barely could walk.
Wow. Mm.
It's starting to now. I'm able to do more. So that means
Right.
if you sit long enough, you're going to gain weight because you're eating.
Right. Yeah.
It's just what it is, especially depending on the metabolism. So
Exactly.
I wouldn't, fault yourself that, well, I'm unable to do these things because we get back into that work habit and who has time to do certain things. But I
Right.
put that self-care back in there somehow because you don't want to find yourself back in that situation. And I'm doing the
Exactly.
so ain't no judgment here. I am saying that every day. How can I do this better?
How can I do this better? Right.
I like eating pie.
Yeah, girl, we don't.
So I
I
find different ways to make pie out of things that are not so much sugar. You
the
understand?
sugar,
I'm just saying because that's what feeds cancer.
that's what it says. Sugar is not your friend. It feeds the cancer. You
If
know?
we know that, how can I eliminate or at least lessen it in my diet while
Right.
doing everything else? And it's a long journey. There is, like the doctors tell you, there is no quick fix. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
you're on trying to get on the treadmill 9 hours a day.
Right.
No, no. Now you're dealing
Right.
with disorder that now they're gonna have to help you with that.
Exactly. Right.
What can we do? And we can even you and I can be accountable, making sure doing your vitamins,
That's right.
you do to help. If you're going to be doing a walkathon during the year, preparing for it, maybe I can join you in that. We're going to be
Yeah.
having
Okay.
fun. later this year. But there's things you may be doing. And you know what? We can all team up and help one another. And that's how we make ourselves accountable to making sure we're eating right. Because it reminds, I don't know if you guys do it, but a group of friends, us, what we do is at our birthdays, everyone has to get their mammogram.
Oh, okay.
So we call each other on the birthday time. Did you set up your mammogram?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we can always be accountable.
I
And
love that. Yes.
did you get your mammogram this year?
Right.
Or did you, do your colonoscopy? As we get older, we got to do it a little more frequent.
You got it. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Those things, because we both have each other's number. We can do those things. Just reminding, love you, girl, love you. Make sure you're doing it.
Exactly. That's just saying. It helps hold you accountable for what you need to do for yourself.
No judgment, because I'm not telling you, girl, going over there. No.
You must not eat them cookies.
So is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers, our listeners about your experience? Something that you want them to know moving forward? Because there's going to be some people watching, they have family members or themselves are going through, they are going through depression, they're going through a lot of different things. Is there anything you want to say to them? I want you to tell them.
One example I do want to give, and then I want to say, well, first I want to say that do not neglect what your body's telling you. We all know when something's not right with our body. Please go see about it, because it may be something. I know we have that fear factor of not wanting to know what's going on, a fear of whatever it could be, but I think I would rather know than neglect it, and it gets worse. As far as family goes, one thing that I do wish I knew ahead of time with my sister was that we didn't know what was going on with her. We didn't. Her husband was there, and two of my nephews still lived there, the two younger ones, and they never even picked up the phone to me or my mom or my other sister to let us know that she was going through something. Auntie, mommy's sick. If she's not going to the doctor, can you talk to her? Or even my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, something ain't right with your sister, but she's refusing. I mean, she was that type of person where I take care of myself my way. She's more worried about making sure her family's right, but not, I would say she wasn't taking care of herself in that sense, because she always put them first and neglecting her body. You know what I mean? Working 2 or 3 jobs, that kind of thing. At some point your body's going to wear down because you're not getting the right sleep, you're not getting the right foods. You know what I mean? But I wish I would have known that she was losing the weight she was losing at a rapid rate. You know what I'm saying? And wasn't going to the doctor. So I'm saying that if you know a family member that's going through something, encourage them to go get themselves checked out, or tell someone else. I mean, maybe make it a group thing where everyone calls one another and say, "Look, let's get together. Let's go visit so and so. Let's urge her or him to go get their self checked out." Because I'm telling you, it's like, I just wish I would have known sooner, because hers was stage 4 as well when they finally found out what was wrong with her. And then within months she was gone. But I can't get mad at them, because she probably told them, "Look, don't say nothing to mommy or don't say nothing to my sisters," and they respected her decision. But I wish I would have known, because maybe I could, or me or my mom could have encouraged them more to go get herself checked out sooner.
Well, we know with when it comes to cancer, there's a lot of times why people don't share. Because that's one of the reasons why I've started this encouragement on fire, because with cancer, there's a shame. Chronic illness, there's a shame that goes along with it. Whether you are in church or faith, you understand, people just assume, well, why is this happening to you? You're
right.
This hidden question. Well, you must have did something. You understand? I'm just being honest with you. When I talk to every person that I interviewed, those that I interviewed in silence, we didn't do a video, they all said the same thing. There's a shame that goes along with this, because when they grew up, someone said to them, and it's a shame that the person said it, they said, well, only these bad things happen to people who are bad.
What? Hmm.
But isn't that crazy?
Yes. What? Crazy.
I'm thinking to myself, because I have done some bad things. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Say I have never done any bad thing.
That's right.
But I know that God is a restorer.
Yes.
And my parents raised me to be kind to others, to do.
Yes.
And anyone who's watching, now I just put myself out. Anyone who's watching, they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? And I lived my life serving the community, the church.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Some people don't do that. Some people don't even go to church. Some people they don't have a faith.
Right.
Even doing good unto others. So that analogy or that fact that they said to that person, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Of people, people who are missionaries, gave their lives for others and died of chronic diseases.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why did that happen? Similar to what you just said. We give so much of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Get to take care.
Yep. Exactly.
You understand? Mothers do it every day. Their children, their spouses,
Mm-hmm.
especially single moms, they give everything to them.
That's right.
We forget, gotta take time for me.
That's right. Forget about that self-care.
Self-care. I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta make sure that I'm gonna be here and I can continue to do good.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Be there for my family. You know what I'm saying? They need me. You know what I mean?
That was one of the things that was one of our big, when I say I asked everyone that same thing, have you ever heard that from anyone?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't ask you that yet, but they said the same thing, that they heard the exact same thing, that you must have did something. I said, wow.
Wow. I can't even.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Wow. And you know what? Wow. My immediately what I'm thinking is, whoever said that either needs to be educated quickly, or they need to be removed from that person's life.
That's right. Because you don't need that negativity when you're going through something as serious as cancer. You got to keep all the positivity around you. You know what I'm saying? Those who know who are going to support you, who are there for you.
Because chronic disease, whether it's cancer, diabetes, whether it's heart disease, all of those, there's so many factors. And the doctors will tell you that eating is only one. What you do to other people, they're like, those really are not. It's really about your genetics and your health and all. The environment play a significant role in that, those chronic diseases happening to an individual.
Right. And even with not just our age, even with our children in their age group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to tell when the last time you got a physical? You know what I mean? My one son saying, wow, you had cancer, I had cancer. He's like, I may get it. But I'm trying to let him know the one I had is not hereditary. You know what I'm saying? But that should give you an incentive to make sure you go to the doctor, get a physical at least once a year. But younger generation, they just moving on like nothing.
But you know
what I mean?
Encourage them. So you just telling your children, did you get that physical yet?
Mm-hmm.
Responsible. Listen, all of us, we survived so we can educate. Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Angela.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You're thinking of me to share my story. Mm-hmm.
So thanks everyone for coming to view today's Encouragement on Fire. It is a blessing always for you to tune in and to listen. and we want you to be encouraged. So have a nice day. Talk to you soon.